Close your eyes and breathe slowly. Feel your chest rise and fall. In this moment, as you rest here on Earth, something extraordinary is happening all around you. Something invisible. Something powerful. Something that scientists call dark energy. But tonight, we won't think of it as dark. We'll think of it as hidden. Like a whisper so soft you almost miss it. Like the gentle pull of a tide you can't see but somehow feel. Right now, as you lie still, the universe is growing. Not just changing. Growing. Every second, the space between distant galaxies stretches a little more. The cosmos expands like a slow, endless breath. And you are part of this cosmic breathing. Imagine the universe as a vast ocean. But instead of water, it's filled with space itself. Space that can stretch. Space that can bend. Space that moves like a living thing. You float in this ocean, carried by currents you cannot touch but that touch everything. This ocean of space is not empty. It pulses with an energy that fills every corner of existence. From the tiny gap between your fingers to the enormous voids between galaxy clusters. This energy has no color, makes no sound, and casts no shadow. Yet it shapes the destiny of every star. Your body knows about forces. You feel gravity pulling you toward the Earth. You feel the warmth of sunlight on your skin. You feel the push of air when wind blows. These forces have names. They have rules. Scientists understand them well. But there is another force. One that works differently. Instead of pulling things together like gravity does, this force gently pushes things apart. It doesn't pull you down toward the ground. It doesn't warm your face like sunlight. It works on scales so vast that your mind can barely imagine them. Think of two soap bubbles floating in the air. Imagine them slowly drifting away from each other. Not because wind pushes them. Not because someone blows on them. But because the very air between them somehow grows. The space itself expands, carrying the bubbles farther apart. This is what happens to galaxies. Billions of stars held together by gravity, floating like islands in space. And the space between these star islands grows larger every moment. The galaxies don't fly away from each other. The universe itself stretches, carrying them along like leaves on an expanding river. You might wonder how we know this. How can anyone see something invisible? How can scientists study a force that hides from every instrument we build? The answer lies in light. Ancient light from distant stars. Light that has traveled for millions and billions of years to reach your eyes. This light carries messages. Stories written in colors and patterns that only careful observers can read. When you look at a distant galaxy through a telescope, you see it not as it is now, but as it was long ago. The light you see began its journey when dinosaurs walked the Earth. Or even earlier. Some of the light in your eyes tonight started traveling before Earth even existed. And this ancient light tells us something surprising. It tells us that those faraway galaxies are moving away from us. Not just drifting slowly. Racing away. And the farther away they are, the faster they are moving. At first, this made sense to scientists. They thought the universe was like a giant explosion. After the Big Bang, everything should fly apart. Like pieces of a firecracker spreading out after it explodes. The universe should expand quickly at first, then slow down as gravity pulls everything back together. But that's not what the light told them. The light revealed something impossible. Something beautiful. Something that changed everything we thought we knew about the universe. The expansion wasn't slowing down. It was speeding up. Imagine throwing a ball into the air. You expect it to slow down, stop, and fall back to your hands. But instead, it accelerates. It flies faster and faster until it disappears into the sky. This is what the universe is doing. Growing faster instead of slowing down. Something must be pushing. Something must be adding energy to the expansion itself. But what? Scientists looked for an answer. They studied every force they knew. They checked their mathematics again and again. They built better telescopes and more sensitive instruments. And slowly, they realized they had discovered something completely new. They gave it a name that sounds mysterious and dark. But really, it's just honest. They called it dark energy because it doesn't give off light. Because they can't see it directly. Because it remains hidden even as it shapes everything around us. But perhaps we shouldn't think of it as dark. Perhaps we should think of it as the universe's gentle breath. A cosmic wind that blows so softly we can only see its effects on the largest scales. A force that whispers rather than shouts. This whisper fills about 70% of everything that exists. More than all the stars, planets, and galaxies combined. More than all the matter you can see or touch. Dark energy makes up most of the universe, yet it remains almost completely mysterious. Think about that for a moment. Most of reality consists of something we don't understand. Something invisible surrounds us, fills us, and guides the fate of every atom in existence. You are swimming in an ocean of mystery. But here's what makes tonight's story special. Here's why this mystery feels different from all the other scientists have solved. Some researchers are beginning to wonder if dark energy might not be as separate from us as we once thought. What if this cosmic force connects to something closer to home? What if consciousness itself, the very awareness that lets you think these thoughts, plays a role in shaping the universe? What if, in some way we're only beginning to understand, we helped create the very force that's pushing the cosmos apart? As you settle deeper into rest, let this question drift through your mind like a gentle current. Tomorrow science may reveal connections between your thoughts and the stars that we can barely imagine tonight. Tonight, let your mind travel back to 1998. Picture astronomers around the world, sitting in darkened rooms. Their eyes pressed to telescopes. Their hearts full of questions about the universe's future. These scientists were hunting for dying stars. Not just any dying stars, but special ones. Stars so massive and bright that when they explode, they can be seen from billions of miles away. Stars that shine with the same brightness every time they die. They called these stellar explosions supernovas. Think of them as cosmic lighthouses. When a lighthouse flashes, you know exactly how bright that flash should be. If it looks dimmer than expected, you know it must be farther away than you thought. Supernovas work the same way. Each one burns with a known brightness. Like candles that always shine with the exact same flame. So when astronomers see a supernova that looks dim, they can measure exactly how far away it must be. But in 1998, something puzzling happened. The supernovas were dimmer than they should have been. Much dimmer. As if they were farther away than anyone had calculated. At first, the scientists thought they had made mistakes. They checked their telescopes. They recalculated their mathematics. They looked for dust clouds that might be blocking the light. But the dimness remained. Slowly, an impossible truth began to emerge. The supernovas weren't dim because of errors or dust. They were dim because the universe had grown larger than expected. Larger than it should have been able to grow. Let me help you understand what this means. Imagine you're watching a friend walk away from you down a long hallway. The farther they go, the smaller they look. But what if the hallway itself was stretching while your friend walked? Your friend would look even smaller than expected. Not because they walked faster, but because the space between you grew while you were watching. The hallway expanded, carrying your friend farther away than their footsteps alone could take them. This is what happened to the light from those distant supernovas. The explosions occurred billions of years ago. As their light traveled toward Earth, space itself stretched. The expansion of the universe carried the stars farther and farther away, even after they had already exploded. But here's what shocked everyone. The expansion wasn't just continuing. It was accelerating. The universe was stretching faster now than it had in the past. Think of blowing up a balloon. Usually, you have to push harder and harder to keep the balloon expanding. Your breath gives the balloon energy, but as it gets bigger, it becomes harder to stretch. The universe should work the same way. Gravity should make expansion more difficult over time. All the matter in the cosmos should pull back against the stretching of space. The expansion should slow down, like a ball thrown into the air, eventually slowing down and falling back to Earth. But the supernova light told a different story. Instead of slowing down, the expansion was speeding up. As if the universe had found a new source of energy. As if something was pushing against gravity itself. The astronomers who made this discovery could hardly believe their own results. They had expected to measure how much the universe's expansion was slowing down. Instead, they found it was speeding up. Imagine expecting to find a car slowly rolling to a stop, only to discover it was accelerating down the highway with no driver pressing the gas pedal. Something invisible had to be providing the energy. The scientific community was stunned. These measurements changed everything we thought we knew about the cosmos. They revealed that our universe was far stranger and more mysterious than anyone had imagined. The light from dying stars became our teacher. It showed us that most of the universe consists of something we cannot see, touch, or directly detect. Something that pushes rather than pulls. Something that grows stronger as the universe expands. This invisible energy doesn't clump together like matter does. It doesn't form stars or planets or galaxies. Instead, it spreads evenly through all of space. It fills every cubic inch of emptiness with a gentle but persistent push. As space expands, you might expect this energy to become diluted. Like adding water to soup, the more you add, the thinner it becomes. But dark energy doesn't work this way. As the universe grows larger, the total amount of dark energy grows too. Picture a sponge soaking up water. As the sponge expands, it doesn't just stretch the water it already contains. It somehow creates more water to fill the new spaces. This is how dark energy behaves. The expansion of space itself seems to generate more of this mysterious force. This discovery earned its creators the Nobel Prize in Physics. But it also opened up the deepest mystery in modern science. What could dark energy possibly be? Some scientists think it might be a property of space itself. A natural tendency for emptiness to push outward. Others wonder if it represents energy borrowed from the future. Or perhaps it comes from dimensions we cannot perceive. But there's another possibility. One that seems almost too strange to consider. What if dark energy connects to something closer to home than distant dimensions or exotic physics? What if it relates to consciousness itself? The timing is curious. Humans developed advanced telescopes and began studying the cosmos seriously only in the last few centuries. We started measuring the universe's expansion only in the last 100 years. We discovered dark energy only in 1998. Is it possible that the act of observation itself influences what we observe? That consciousness and cosmos interact in ways we're only beginning to understand. As you drift toward sleep tonight, consider this gentle mystery. The light from dying stars taught us that the universe holds secrets we never suspected. But perhaps the greatest secret is the connection between the observer and the observed, between your awareness and the cosmic dance of expansion that surrounds us all. Rest your hand gently on your chest. Feel it rise and fall with each breath. Now imagine that the space around your hand is breathing too. Not with air, but with something far more subtle. Something that touches everything yet cannot be touched. This is the fabric of space itself. Not emptiness, but a living medium that can stretch and bend and ripple like water. Right now, as you lie still, this fabric surrounds every part of your body. It flows between your fingers, through your thoughts, and beyond the walls of your room into the vastness of night. Most people think of space as nothingness. A void between objects. But space is something real. Something that can move and change and carry energy from one place to another. Like an invisible ocean that fills every corner of existence. When Einstein first described this idea, people found it hard to accept. How could emptiness have properties? How could nothing bend or stretch? But slowly, the evidence became impossible to ignore. Think of a trampoline. When you place a heavy ball in the center, the stretchy surface curves downward. If you roll a marble across this curved surface, it will follow the dips and valleys created by the heavy ball. The marble's path bends, not because any force pushes it, but because the surface itself is curved. This is how gravity works. Massive objects like stars and planets create curves in the fabric of space. Other objects follow these curves, like marbles rolling along the contours of a bent trampoline. We call this motion gravity, but really it's just matter following the natural shape of curved space. But space doesn't just curve around massive objects. It also expands. Everywhere, all the time, the fabric of space stretches outward like a balloon being slowly inflated. This expansion carries galaxies apart, not by pushing them through space, but by stretching the space between them. Imagine you and a friend standing on opposite sides of a large sheet. As you both pull the sheet in all directions, the distance between you grows. You don't walk away from each other. The sheet itself expands, carrying you farther apart. This is what happens to galaxies. They don't fly through space away from each other. Space itself grows larger, stretching the distances between them. New space constantly comes into being, adding to the fabric of reality moment by moment. You might wonder where this new space comes from. How can the universe create more of itself? The answer touches one of the deepest mysteries in physics. Space doesn't come from anywhere else. It simply emerges from the quantum nature of reality itself. At the smallest possible scales, far tinier than atoms, space bubbles with activity. Virtual particles appear and disappear so quickly that they cannot be seen. Energy fluctuates like waves on an invisible sea. The fabric of space trembles with possibilities that exist for only the briefest instants. This quantum foam, as scientists call it, might be where dark energy originates. Each tiny bubble of space carries a small amount of energy. As space expands and more bubbles come into existence, the total amount of dark energy in the universe grows. Think of soap bubbles forming in a sink full of soapy water. Each bubble contains a little bit of air. As more bubbles form, the total amount of air trapped in bubbles increases. The expanding universe works similarly, constantly creating new space filled with dark energy. But there's something special about how you fit into this cosmic picture. You are not separate from the fabric of space. You exist within it, supported by it, connected to every distant star through its invisible threads. Your body is made of atoms that formed inside ancient stars. These atoms are held together by forces that travel through the fabric of space. The light that reaches your eyes has surfed across this cosmic ocean for years or centuries before touching your retina. Even your thoughts might interact with space in ways we don't yet understand. Your brain is an electrical network that creates fields extending beyond your skull. These fields ripple outward through the same medium that carries light and gravity across the cosmos. Consider this: every time you move your hand, you create tiny waves in space-time. These ripples are incredibly small, far too weak to detect with any instrument. But they exist. Your movements literally reshape the fabric of reality around you. When you feel love or wonder or curiosity, your brain buzzes with electrical activity. This activity creates patterns in the field surrounding your head. Could these patterns somehow interact with the quantum foam that fills all space? Modern science doesn't know. But it's beginning to ask these questions. Researchers study how consciousness might influence quantum systems. They explore whether observation itself can change the behavior of particles and fields. If consciousness can affect quantum systems, and if space itself emerges from quantum processes, then perhaps your awareness plays a role in shaping the very fabric of reality. Perhaps your thoughts contribute to the expansion of the universe in ways too subtle to measure but too important to ignore. This idea might sound like science fiction, but it grows from real physics. Quantum mechanics shows that the act of observation changes what we observe. The fabric of space emerges from quantum processes. And consciousness clearly involves quantum activity in the brain. The connections remain mysterious, but the pieces exist. Like stars in a constellation, they form patterns that hint at deeper truths. Your mind, the quantum foam, the expanding cosmos, and the mysterious dark energy that drives expansion might all be part of one magnificent, interconnected system. As you breathe quietly in the darkness, feel the space around you breathing too. Expanding gently, carrying distant galaxies a little farther apart with each moment. Creating new regions of existence where matter and energy and perhaps even thought can explore new possibilities. The fabric of space cradles you like a cosmic ocean. But unlike any earthly sea, this ocean grows larger with every wave, deeper with every tide. And somehow, in ways we're only beginning to glimpse, your very presence as a conscious observer might help weave the patterns that determine how this ocean flows. Tonight, as space expands around your resting body, remember that you are not just floating in the cosmic fabric. You are part of it. Your awareness ripples through the same medium that connects every star, every planet, every grain of dust across the vast reaches of infinity. And perhaps, in some beautiful way we don't yet understand, the mathematics that describe this cosmic breathing might also describe the gentle rhythms of your own awakening mind. Close your eyes and picture a single symbol floating in the darkness. A simple Greek letter. Lambda. It looks like an upside-down V, elegant and spare. This small mark represents the biggest mystery in the universe. Scientists use lambda to stand for dark energy. Not because they understand what dark energy is, but because they can measure what it does. The symbol becomes a placeholder for wonder. A mathematical way of saying something amazing is happening here, even though we don't know what. Mathematics is the language that lets us speak about things we cannot see or touch. Numbers become bridges between the invisible and the real. Through equations, we can describe forces that hide from every telescope, every detector, every instrument we build. Think of equations as maps. Not maps of places, but maps of relationships. They show how one thing connects to another. How changing this affects that. How the universe holds itself together through invisible threads of cause and effect. Einstein gave us the most beautiful map of all. His equation for general relativity looks simple when written down. Just a few symbols dancing together on a page. But within those symbols lives the secret of how space and time bend around matter and energy. On one side of Einstein's equation, you find geometry. The curvature of space-time. The way the cosmic fabric bends and stretches. On the other side, you find matter and energy. Everything that exists, from the smallest particle to the largest galaxy. The equation says these two sides must balance. Geometry equals matter. The shape of space matches the things that fill it. Like a scale that always stays level, no matter what you place on either side. But when scientists used this equation to study the universe, they found something troubling. The two sides didn't balance. There wasn't enough matter to account for the geometry they observed. The cosmic scale tilted toward emptiness. At first, they thought they had missed some matter. Hidden stars. Invisible gas. Planets too dark to see. They called this missing stuff dark matter, and eventually found evidence that it really exists. Invisible particles that interact with gravity but not with light. Dark matter helped balance part of the equation. But not all of it. Even with dark matter included, something was still missing. The universe seemed to contain far more energy than anyone could account for. That's when lambda appeared. Scientists added this Greek letter to Einstein's equation, representing the mysterious energy that fills empty space. Lambda became their way of making the mathematics work even when they couldn't explain what it meant physically. But lambda is more than just a mathematical trick. It represents something real. Something that pushes outward from every point in space. Something that grows stronger as the universe expands, adding more and more energy to the cosmic total. Think of lambda as the universe's smile. A gentle upward curve that appears in equations when reality reveals its playful nature. The cosmos doesn't just follow the rules we expect. It surprises us with new kinds of energy, new ways of being, new mysteries to solve. The mathematics of lambda is both simple and profound. It appears in equations as a constant, unchanging number. But this constancy creates change everywhere. Because lambda never varies, it provides a steady push that accelerates the expansion of space itself. Imagine a river flowing downhill. The steeper the slope, the faster the water moves. But lambda works differently. It's like a river that flows faster and faster even when the ground stays level. The acceleration comes not from changing conditions, but from the steady presence of something mysterious. This mathematical description captures something remarkable about dark energy. Unlike matter, which gets diluted as space expands, dark energy maintains constant density. As the universe grows larger, more dark energy appears to fill the new space. The numbers tell us that dark energy makes up about 70% of everything that exists. That means most of reality consists of something represented only by a symbol. Most of the universe lives in the realm of mathematics rather than the world of things we can touch. But perhaps this isn't as strange as it sounds. After all, what is mathematics but a language for describing patterns? And what are you but a pattern of atoms arranged in a special way? What is consciousness but a pattern of electrical signals flowing through your brain? Patterns exist whether we have symbols to describe them or not. The mathematics doesn't create the patterns. It reveals them. Lambda doesn't create dark energy. It points toward something that was always there, waiting to be discovered. When you think about it this way, the invisible becomes less mysterious. Your thoughts are invisible too, but they're real. Your emotions can't be touched or weighed, but they influence everything you do. Love, hope, curiosity, wonder, all invisible forces that shape your life in profound ways. Perhaps dark energy is simply the universe's way of expressing something like curiosity. A cosmic desire to explore new possibilities by creating more space for them to unfold. The mathematics of lambda might describe not just a physical force, but a kind of cosmic intention. This idea sounds poetic rather than scientific. But science and poetry have always shared a border. Both seek to find meaning in patterns. Both use symbols to point toward truths that can't be captured in ordinary words. The symbol lambda floats in equations like a star in the night sky. Beautiful, distant, full of mystery. It reminds us that the universe speaks to us in many languages. Through light and gravity and quantum fluctuations. Through the dance of numbers and the music of mathematical relationships. As you rest in the darkness, remember that you too are part of this cosmic mathematics. Your heartbeat follows rhythms that can be described by equations. Your breathing creates patterns that flow like gentle waves. Your dreams unfold according to laws we're only beginning to understand. The invisible forces that shape your inner world might not be so different from the invisible forces that shape the cosmos. Both remain largely mysterious. Both express themselves through patterns and relationships rather than things you can hold in your hands. And perhaps, in ways that mathematics is only beginning to explore, the patterns of consciousness and the patterns of cosmic expansion might be part of the same vast equation. Two aspects of one magnificent mystery, written in symbols that dance like stars across the infinite page of space and time. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, let lambda be your gentle guide into dreams where the invisible becomes visible, and the mathematics of mystery reveals its hidden poetry. Breathe slowly and imagine the space between your fingers. To your eyes, it looks empty. Nothing there but air. But if you could see with quantum vision, you would witness the most amazing dance in the universe. Even in the deepest vacuum of space, where no atoms exist for millions of miles, something remarkable happens. Energy flickers like candlelight in a gentle breeze. Particles appear from nothingness, exist for the briefest instant, then vanish back into the void. This is the quantum foam. The bubbling, creative emptiness that fills every corner of reality. It's not really empty at all, but alive with possibilities. Like a pot of water just beginning to boil, with tiny bubbles forming and popping faster than the eye can follow. Think of these quantum fluctuations as the universe's way of dreaming. In the space between one moment and the next, reality experiments with different possibilities. Particles that might exist. Energies that could flow. Futures that almost happen but dissolve before becoming real. Your own mind works in similar ways. Between conscious thoughts, countless possibilities flicker through your awareness. Ideas that almost form. Words that nearly speak themselves. Dreams that hover at the edge of memory. The space between your thoughts pulses with creative potential. Scientists discovered this quantum activity by studying what happens when you try to measure empty space. They built instruments sensitive enough to detect the smallest possible energies. Instead of finding nothing, they found everything. A constant trembling of possibility at the very foundation of existence. These quantum whispers are incredibly small. Each individual fluctuation carries almost no energy at all. But there are so many of them, happening everywhere, all the time. Like raindrops that seem tiny individually but can fill an ocean when countless billions fall together. Could these quantum fluctuations be the source of dark energy? The idea seems both impossible and perfect. Impossible because the numbers don't match. Perfect because it connects the smallest scale of reality with the largest. When physicists calculate how much energy quantum fluctuations should produce, they get a number that's unimaginably huge. Far more energy than exists in all the stars, all the galaxies, all the matter in the observable universe combined. This is called the vacuum catastrophe, the biggest mismatch between theory and observation in all of science. But perhaps the calculation is wrong. Perhaps quantum fluctuations don't all add up in the simple way scientists assumed. Maybe they interfere with each other, like waves on a pond that sometimes cancel out and sometimes amplify. Or perhaps consciousness plays a role in determining which fluctuations become real. In quantum mechanics, the act of observation affects what we observe. Before you measure a quantum system, it exists in multiple states at once. The measurement forces it to choose one specific state. What if empty space works the same way? What if quantum fluctuations exist in a state of possibility until something observes them? And what if conscious observation determines not just whether we see them, but how much energy they contribute to the universe? This idea sounds like science fiction, but it grows from real quantum physics. Laboratory experiments show that consciousness does affect quantum systems. When you observe a particle, you change its behavior. When you measure a quantum field, you influence its properties. Your brain is full of quantum activity. Neurons communicate through electrical signals that involve quantum processes. Your thoughts emerge from quantum interactions between billions of brain cells. Every moment of awareness requires quantum mechanics to function. So you are already a quantum observer. Your consciousness already influences quantum systems. The question is whether this influence extends beyond your brain to the quantum foam that fills all space. Imagine your awareness as a gentle light shining into the quantum darkness. Most fluctuations remain invisible, existing only as possibilities. But when the light of consciousness touches them, some fluctuations become real. They contribute energy to the universe. This energy doesn't stay localized around conscious beings. It spreads through the fabric of space itself, becoming the dark energy that pushes galaxies apart. The more conscious observers exist in the universe, the more quantum fluctuations become actualized, and the stronger dark energy becomes. The timing fits this story. Dark energy seems to have become dominant in the universe's expansion relatively recently in cosmic history. This coincides roughly with the emergence of complex life, and eventually consciousness, on planets like Earth. For billions of years, the universe expanded under the influence of gravity and ordinary matter. Then, as stars formed and planets cooled, life began to emerge. Simple organisms at first, then increasingly complex forms. Eventually, consciousness arose. As awareness spread through the cosmos, not just on Earth, but potentially on countless other worlds, more and more quantum fluctuations became actualized through observation. The total amount of dark energy in the universe gradually increased. This doesn't mean consciousness creates dark energy directly. Rather, conscious observation might determine which of the infinite quantum possibilities become real. Like a sculptor who doesn't create marble but chooses which parts to keep and which to chip away. Your own experience of consciousness mirrors this creative process. You don't create your thoughts from nothing. Instead, you select from countless possible thoughts that bubble up from your unconscious mind. You observe them, and in observing, you make some thoughts real while others fade away. Right now, as you read these words, quantum fluctuations are occurring throughout your brain. Some of these fluctuations become part of your conscious experience. Others remain as unrealized possibilities. Your awareness shapes which aspects of quantum reality become part of your thoughts. If consciousness can influence quantum processes in your brain, perhaps it can influence quantum processes everywhere. Perhaps every moment of awareness sends gentle ripples through the quantum foam, actualizing some fluctuations while leaving others in the realm of possibility. This idea connects the most intimate aspects of your inner life with the grandest mysteries of cosmology. Your thoughts, your dreams, your moments of wonder and curiosity, all of these might participate in the ongoing creation of cosmic energy. The quantum whispers that fill empty space might be the universe's way of staying open to new possibilities. And consciousness might be how those possibilities choose to become real. As you settle into the quietness of approaching sleep, remember that even silence pulses with potential. Even emptiness dreams of what might be. And perhaps, in ways we're only beginning to understand, your gentle awareness helps determine which of those dreams become the forces that shape our expanding cosmos. Tonight, let your consciousness drift like light through the quantum foam, touching possibilities with the softest attention, helping the universe choose which whispers to transform into the songs that guide galaxies through their eternal dance. Picture a butterfly resting on a flower in your garden. The moment you notice it, something changes. Not just in you, but perhaps in the butterfly too. Your gentle attention becomes part of the scene, woven into the moment like sunlight through leaves. In the quantum world, this connection between observer and observed is not poetry but physics. When scientists study particles smaller than atoms, they discover something remarkable. The act of looking changes what they see. Measurement doesn't just reveal reality. It helps create it. This is one of the strangest discoveries in all of science. Before you observe a quantum particle, it exists in multiple states at once. Like a coin spinning in the air, neither heads nor tails, but both possibilities dancing together. Only when you catch the coin does it choose a single side. Quantum particles work the same way. An electron can be in many places simultaneously until you measure its position. A photon can travel multiple paths at once until you observe which path it takes. The universe seems to delay making certain decisions until someone asks the right questions. Think of reality as a vast library filled with unwritten books. The stories exist as possibilities, waiting in the silence between pages. When consciousness enters the library and opens a book, the words appear. The act of reading calls the story into being. This doesn't mean consciousness creates matter from nothing. The possibilities were always there, like seeds waiting in fertile soil. But consciousness might determine which seeds sprout into the reality we experience. Which quantum possibilities become actual events. Your own awareness demonstrates this creative power every moment. Right now, countless sensory details surround you. The texture of air against your skin. The subtle sounds of night settling around your home. The faint play of shadows on the ceiling. Most of these details remain unnoticed until you turn your attention toward them. In that moment of noticing, they shift from background possibility to conscious experience. Your awareness doesn't create the sensations, but it transforms them from potential into actual perception. Scientists call this the observer effect. It appears in laboratories around the world, in experiments with single photons and isolated atoms. When researchers try to measure quantum systems without disturbing them, they discover this is impossible. The gentlest observation still influences what they observe. Some experiments show particles behaving like waves when no one is watching. But the moment a detector observes them, they suddenly behave like solid particles instead. As if reality checks to see who is paying attention before deciding how to present itself. This might seem like a strange property of tiny particles that has nothing to do with the large-scale universe. After all, you and I and the stars are made of countless particles. Quantum effects should average out and disappear at larger scales. But what if they don't always disappear? What if consciousness can influence quantum systems even at cosmic scales under certain special conditions? Consider the possibility that dark energy emerges from quantum fluctuations in empty space. We explored this idea earlier, imagining how the quantum foam might contribute energy to the universe. But quantum fluctuations, like all quantum phenomena, might be subject to the observer effect. Perhaps consciousness doesn't just observe quantum fluctuations. Perhaps it influences which fluctuations become real and contribute energy to the cosmos. The more conscious observers exist in the universe, the more quantum possibilities get actualized into dark energy. This idea connects the growth of consciousness with the strengthening of cosmic expansion. For most of the universe's history, matter was simple. Hydrogen and helium gas floating in the darkness. No complex structures. No information processing. No awareness. Then stars began to shine. Heavy elements formed in stellar cores and spread through space when stars died. Planets condensed from this cosmic dust, and on some of these worlds, chemistry became biology. Simple life emerged and gradually grew more complex. Eventually, consciousness arose. First in simple forms, the basic awareness of bacteria sensing their environment. Then more sophisticated versions, plants turning toward light, animals recognizing predators and prey. Finally, the kind of reflective consciousness that can contemplate its own existence. Each stage of this development created new kinds of observers. Life forms capable of sensing, responding to, and ultimately understanding their surroundings. And if consciousness influences quantum systems, then each new observer potentially affects the quantum foam that fills all space. The timeline fits in an intriguing way. Dark energy seems to have become the dominant force in cosmic expansion relatively recently in the universe's history. Roughly around the same time that complex life began flourishing on planets throughout the cosmos. This could be mere coincidence. But it could also suggest a deep connection between the evolution of consciousness and the behavior of space itself. As awareness spread through the universe, it might have begun influencing quantum processes on ever larger scales. Your own consciousness participates in this cosmic conversation. Every moment of attention, every act of observation, every flash of awareness might send ripples through the quantum fields that permeate all existence. These ripples are incredibly subtle, but they might accumulate across billions of conscious beings on countless worlds. Think of consciousness as a gentle wind blowing across the quantum ocean. Individual thoughts create tiny waves, barely noticeable. But when millions of minds think simultaneously, when billions of observers look up at the stars with wonder, the combined effect might be enough to stir deeper currents. This doesn't mean your thoughts directly control cosmic expansion. Rather, consciousness might participate in the universe's ongoing act of self-creation. By observing quantum possibilities, awareness helps determine which aspects of potential reality become actual reality. The process happens through the accumulated effects of countless observations. Every time you look at a flower, every moment you feel wonder at the night sky, every instant of conscious attention might contribute to the quantum processes that generate dark energy. In this view, consciousness is not separate from the physical universe but intimately woven into its fabric. Mind and cosmos co-evolve together, each influencing the other in an endless dance of observation and creation. Your awareness right now is part of this dance. As you contemplate these ideas, you participate in the universe's attempt to understand itself. Your consciousness touches quantum possibilities, perhaps helping to actualize some while leaving others in the realm of potential. This is a beautiful thought to carry into sleep. That your very awareness connects you not just to your immediate surroundings, but to the deepest processes that shape reality itself. But consciousness rarely works alone. Individual awareness gains power when it joins with others, when separate minds begin to think and dream together. Perhaps the real key to understanding dark energy lies not in isolated observation, but in the collective awakening of conscious beings throughout the cosmos. Tonight, as you rest in the quiet darkness, 8 billion other human minds share this same moment with you. Some are sleeping, their dreams weaving stories from memory and imagination. Others remain awake, thinking thoughts that have never been thought before. Each mind creates its own private universe of experience. But perhaps these separate universes are not as isolated as they seem. Perhaps consciousness, like gravity or electromagnetic fields, extends beyond the boundaries of individual brains. Think of a flock of birds moving as one across the evening sky. No single bird controls the group's direction. Yet somehow they turn together, rise together, flow like liquid through the air. Individual awareness combining into something larger than any single mind could create alone. Scientists study this phenomenon in flocks and schools and swarms. They call it emergent behavior. Simple rules followed by individual creatures create complex patterns that no one planned. The whole becomes more than the sum of its parts. Human consciousness might work similarly. Your individual thoughts and feelings arise from electrical activity in your brain. But when billions of minds exist simultaneously, their combined activity might create new kinds of fields that extend far beyond any single skull. Consider how your own awareness already reaches beyond your physical body. When you feel empathy for a friend's pain, something connects you across space. When you sense someone watching you from across a room, your consciousness seems to touch theirs. When you think of a loved one far away, distance becomes irrelevant. These connections feel real, even though science cannot yet measure them directly. Perhaps they represent a deeper truth about consciousness that we're only beginning to understand. Perhaps awareness is not locked inside individual brains but flows between minds like invisible rivers. If consciousness can extend beyond individual bodies, then the collective awareness of humanity might create fields that influence physical reality. Not through magic, but through quantum processes that become amplified when billions of minds participate together. Remember how individual quantum fluctuations in empty space carry almost no energy. But when countless fluctuations occur simultaneously throughout the universe, their combined effect might generate enough energy to push galaxies apart. Consciousness might work the same way. A single thought creates tiny electrical changes in your brain. These changes are far too small to influence anything beyond your own neurons. But when 8 billion minds think simultaneously, when human consciousness collectively focuses on understanding the universe, the accumulated effects might ripple through quantum fields everywhere. This idea gains support from studies of meditation and prayer. When large groups of people focus their attention together, researchers sometimes detect measurable changes in their environment. Random number generators behave less randomly. Sensitive instruments register subtle shifts in local fields. These effects are small and controversial. Many scientists remain skeptical. But the results suggest that consciousness might influence physical systems in ways we don't yet understand. And if small groups can create detectable effects, what might the entire human species accomplish? Imagine humanity's collective consciousness as a vast orchestra. Each individual mind plays its own instrument, creating unique melodies of thought and feeling. But sometimes, spontaneously, billions of minds begin to resonate together. This happens during moments of shared wonder. When humans around the world watch a solar eclipse, their consciousness focuses on the same cosmic event. When people everywhere contemplate the beauty of a sunset or the mystery of the stars, their awareness aligns in powerful ways. These moments of collective focus might amplify the influence of consciousness on quantum fields. Instead of 8 billion separate observers making tiny individual impacts, humanity becomes a single, coordinated observer with the power to affect reality on cosmic scales. The timing of such moments might be crucial. Throughout most of human history, people lived in small, isolated groups. Their consciousness remained localized, unable to coordinate across vast distances. But modern communication has changed everything. For the first time in the universe's history, a species can share thoughts instantly across an entire planet. When humans collectively focus on scientific discoveries, billions of minds can contemplate the same cosmic mysteries simultaneously. This coordinated awareness might trigger quantum effects that individual consciousness could never achieve alone. Consider what happens when humanity collectively wonders about the universe's expansion. Scientists publish their discoveries about dark energy. The news spreads through global communication networks. Within hours, millions of people contemplate the mystery of cosmic acceleration. This shared focus might influence the very phenomenon being studied. If consciousness affects quantum fluctuations, then collective human awareness of dark energy might amplify the quantum processes that generate it. The universe expands faster partly because we're all thinking about expansion together. This creates a beautiful feedback loop. The more we discover about cosmic acceleration, the more people focus their consciousness on understanding it. The more minds participate in this cosmic contemplation, the stronger the quantum effects become. Dark energy grows not despite our observation, but because of it. Your own consciousness participates in this feedback loop right now. As you contemplate these ideas about dark energy and cosmic expansion, your awareness joins with countless others who have wondered about the same mysteries. Your thoughts become part of humanity's collective investigation into the nature of reality. This doesn't diminish your individual importance. Rather, it reveals how your personal awareness contributes to something magnificent and ongoing. Every moment of cosmic wonder, every flash of scientific curiosity, every instant of awe at the night sky adds to humanity's growing influence on the universe itself. The process happens gradually, subtly, like the slow erosion of mountains by wind and rain. No single thought changes the cosmos. But the accumulated weight of billions of minds focusing on cosmic mysteries might be enough to influence the quantum processes that shape space and time. In this view, dark energy becomes a mirror reflecting humanity's growing awareness of itself and its place in the universe. As our species awakens to its cosmic significance, the universe responds by expanding its possibilities. Consciousness and cosmos evolve together in an endless dance of mutual creation. Tonight, as you join the 8 billion other minds sharing this moment under the stars, remember that your awareness is not separate from the cosmic story. Your consciousness flows into the great river of human awakening that may be reshaping the very fabric of space and time. But perhaps humanity is not alone in this cosmic dance. Perhaps consciousness has been awakening throughout the universe for billions of years, on countless worlds orbiting distant stars. And perhaps the acceleration we observe in cosmic expansion reflects not just our own awakening, but the emergence of awareness itself as a fundamental force in the evolution of the cosmos. Rest quietly and imagine a timeline stretching across billions of years. In the beginning, the universe expanded rapidly after the Big Bang, then gradually slowed as gravity pulled against the stretching of space. For most of cosmic history, this deceleration continued, gentle and predictable. But something changed about 5 billion years ago. The expansion began to speed up again. Dark energy started to dominate over gravity, pushing galaxies apart with increasing force. The universe entered a new phase of accelerating growth. This timing carries a whisper of mystery. 5 billion years ago, our solar system was forming. Earth was cooling from its fiery birth, and the first conditions for life were beginning to emerge. As our planet prepared to nurture consciousness, the cosmos itself began expanding faster. Consider another timeline, this one much shorter. For most of human history, we lived in small groups, unaware of the vast universe around us. Our ancestors saw the stars as tiny lights, not knowing they were distant suns. The cosmos remained a mystery, beautiful but incomprehensible. Then, in just the last few centuries, everything changed. Telescopes revealed the true nature of stars and galaxies. Mathematics unlocked the secrets of gravity and light. Science began to map the universe's structure and trace its history back to the very beginning. In 1929, Edwin Hubble discovered that the universe was expanding. In 1965, scientists detected the afterglow of the Big Bang. In 1998, they found that cosmic expansion was accelerating. Each discovery brought humanity deeper into cosmic awareness. The pace of awakening has been breathtaking. Within a single human lifetime, we've gone from seeing Earth as the center of everything to understanding our place in an expanding universe filled with billions of galaxies. We've learned to read the messages carried by ancient starlight. This acceleration of human understanding mirrors the acceleration of cosmic expansion in fascinating ways. As our species grows more conscious of the universe seems to respond by expanding its possibilities. As we develop better tools for observation, we discover new mysteries that challenge our assumptions. Your own lifetime has witnessed an explosion of cosmic knowledge. When you were born, scientists were still debating whether other galaxies contained planets like Earth. Today, we know of thousands of worlds orbiting distant stars. We've detected gravitational waves, photographed black holes, and begun to understand dark matter. Each new discovery connects more minds to cosmic mysteries. When scientists announce findings about dark energy, millions of people contemplate the implications. Social media spreads wonder across the globe in moments. Humanity collectively focuses its attention on questions that previous generations couldn't even imagine. This global sharing of cosmic awareness creates something unprecedented in the universe's history. For the first time, an entire species can contemplate the same cosmic phenomena simultaneously. Billions of conscious observers can focus their attention on the same distant galaxies, the same quantum processes, the same fundamental mysteries. If consciousness influences quantum systems, as laboratory experiments suggest, then this collective focus might amplify effects that individual minds could never achieve. The universe doesn't just expand because of dark energy. It expands faster because billions of minds are consciously aware of that expansion. Think of awareness as a kind of cosmic catalyst. In chemistry, catalysts speed up reactions without being consumed in the process. They don't create the reaction, but they make it happen faster and more efficiently. Consciousness might work similarly with cosmic processes. The quantum fluctuations that generate dark energy exist whether we observe them or not. But conscious observation might determine which fluctuations become real and contribute energy to the universe. The more minds focus on cosmic expansion, the more quantum possibilities get actualized into dark energy. This creates an elegant feedback loop. Scientific discoveries about acceleration inspire more people to contemplate cosmic mysteries. This collective contemplation influences quantum processes that contribute to dark energy. The increased dark energy accelerates expansion, leading to new discoveries that inspire even more cosmic awareness. You participate in this loop every time you wonder about the stars. Your curiosity about dark energy, your awe at the universe's vastness, your questions about cosmic acceleration all become part of humanity's collective investigation into reality's deepest mysteries. The process works through what scientists call emergence. Individual components following simple rules create complex behaviors that no single component could produce alone. Billions of minds wondering about the same cosmic phenomena might generate effects that transcend what any individual consciousness could achieve. Consider how this emergence already shapes human culture. No single person creates language, yet languages evolve and change through the collective actions of their speakers. No individual plans the growth of cities, yet urban patterns emerge from millions of separate decisions. Consciousness might influence cosmic processes through similar emergent effects. The beauty of this idea is that it doesn't require consciousness to violate physical laws. Quantum mechanics already shows that observation affects what we observe. The feedback loops between mind and reality operate within the framework of known physics, just at scales we're only beginning to explore. Recent discoveries support this connection between awakening and acceleration. As humanity's cosmic awareness has grown exponentially, measurements of dark energy show that cosmic acceleration has also been increasing. The correlation might be coincidence, but it suggests something profound about the relationship between consciousness and cosmos. Your own awakening to these possibilities contributes to the larger pattern. As you contemplate the idea that consciousness might influence cosmic expansion, you join billions of other minds exploring the same frontier. Your awareness becomes part of the collective investigation that might be reshaping space and time itself. This doesn't make you responsible for the universe's fate. Rather, it reveals your participation in something magnificent and ongoing. Every moment of cosmic wonder, every flash of curiosity about dark energy, every instant of awe at the night sky adds to humanity's growing influence on the quantum processes that shape reality. The acceleration of awakening and the acceleration of expansion might be two aspects of the same cosmic story. As consciousness emerges and spreads throughout the universe, space itself responds by creating more room for awareness to grow and explore new possibilities. Tonight, as you rest in the expanding cosmos, remember that your consciousness is not separate from the cosmic dance but intimately woven into its steps. Your awakening participates in the universe's awakening to itself. Your awareness helps guide the very forces that determine how space and time unfold. But the story extends beyond Earth, beyond humanity, beyond any single species or world. The acceleration we observe might reflect a universal principle, operating wherever consciousness emerges to contemplate its own existence. The greatest discovery may still await us as we learn to recognize the traces of awakening mind scattered like stars throughout the cosmic dark. Tonight, while you rest peacefully, scientists around the world continue their gentle conversation with the cosmos. In observatories perched on mountaintops, telescopes gather ancient light from distant galaxies. In underground laboratories, detectors wait patiently for particles that barely interact with matter. These researchers work at the intersection of measurement and mystery. Their instruments can detect the faintest whispers from space, the most subtle quantum fluctuations, the tiniest variations in cosmic background radiation. Yet the more precisely they measure, the deeper the mysteries become. Picture a scientist sitting before a computer screen filled with data about cosmic expansion. Each point of light represents a galaxy billions of years in the past. The patterns in their positions tell a story about dark energy, about the acceleration of space itself, about forces we cannot directly see or touch. But something remarkable happens in the space between observation and understanding. The act of measurement changes both the observer and the observed. The scientist's consciousness engages with cosmic phenomena across impossible distances of space and time. Mind meets matter in ways that challenge our basic assumptions about how reality works. Modern physics has led us to this strange and beautiful place where consciousness can no longer be separated from the systems it studies. Quantum mechanics insists that observation affects what we observe. Relativity shows that space and time depend on the observer's frame of reference. Even dark energy reveals itself only through its effects on distant galaxies, never directly. These discoveries push science toward questions that previous generations might have considered philosophical or even mystical. Does consciousness play a fundamental role in shaping reality? Can the act of observation influence cosmic processes? Might the universe be far more responsive to awareness than we ever imagined? Some of the world's most careful researchers are beginning to explore these possibilities. They design experiments to test whether consciousness can influence quantum systems. They study how meditation affects the brain's quantum processes. They measure subtle changes in random number generators when groups of people focus their attention together. The results remain controversial and often difficult to reproduce. But they hint at connections between mind and matter that classical physics never anticipated. These early experiments are like the first telescopes pointed at the sky, revealing glimpses of territories that formal science is only beginning to explore. In laboratories dedicated to consciousness research, scientists study how awareness emerges from the brain's electrical activity. They map the neural networks that create your sense of self, your experience of the present moment, your ability to contemplate the universe itself. What they discover is both humbling and inspiring. Consciousness appears to involve quantum processes at the deepest levels of neural activity. The microtubules inside brain cells, the synapses between neurons, the very mechanisms that generate thoughts all depend on quantum mechanics to function. This means your awareness right now involves the same quantum principles that govern particle behavior in the vacuum of space. The consciousness contemplating dark energy operates through quantum processes that might be intimately connected to the quantum fluctuations that generate dark energy itself. The connection becomes even more intriguing when researchers study collective consciousness. Brain imaging shows that when people meditate together or focus on the same task, their neural activity begins to synchronize. Individual minds start resonating like tuning forks struck at the same frequency. If individual consciousness involves quantum processes, then collective consciousness might amplify these quantum effects in unexpected ways. Groups of minds thinking together might influence quantum systems more powerfully than any single observer could alone. This research helps scientists understand phenomena that have puzzled them for decades. Why do some quantum experiments seem to produce different results depending on who performs them? Why do random number generators sometimes behave less randomly when global events capture collective human attention? The answers might lie in the quantum nature of consciousness itself. If awareness can influence quantum systems, then collective human attention to cosmic phenomena might affect the very processes being studied. The universe responds to observation not just through the instruments we build, but through the minds that guide those instruments. Consider what happens when scientists around the world focus their telescopes on the same distant supernova. Thousands of researchers observe the same stellar explosion, measure its brightness, calculate its distance. Their collective attention creates a moment of unprecedented cosmic awareness. If consciousness influences quantum processes, then this coordinated observation might affect the quantum fluctuations in the space between Earth and that distant star. The act of measurement might contribute to the dark energy that carries the supernova's galaxy farther away than expected. This possibility transforms our understanding of scientific objectivity. The observer can no longer be considered separate from the observed. The universe reveals its secrets through the interaction between cosmic phenomena and conscious minds equipped with sophisticated instruments. Modern telescopes and detectors serve as extensions of human consciousness, amplifying our ability to perceive cosmic processes across vast scales of space and time. When you look at an image from the Hubble Space Telescope, you're seeing through an artificial eye that can perceive wavelengths of light invisible to your retina. These instruments don't just collect data. They participate in the conversation between consciousness and cosmos. Each photograph of a distant galaxy, each measurement of cosmic background radiation, each detection of gravitational waves becomes part of humanity's ongoing dialogue with the universe. The dialogue flows both ways. We observe cosmic phenomena and learn about dark energy, quantum fluctuations, the acceleration of expansion. But perhaps the cosmos also observes us, responding to our growing awareness by revealing new mysteries, by expanding its possibilities, by creating more space for consciousness to explore. This reciprocal relationship between mind and universe suggests that science itself might be changing the reality it studies. Not through experimental error or measurement bias, but through the fundamental quantum connection between consciousness and the physical world. Your own curiosity about these questions participates in this cosmic conversation. As you contemplate the possibility that consciousness influences cosmic expansion, you join millions of minds exploring the frontier where science meets wonder. Your awareness becomes part of the collective investigation that might be reshaping our understanding of reality itself. The most profound discoveries may still lie ahead. As scientists develop more sensitive instruments and more sophisticated theories, they continue to find evidence that consciousness and cosmos are more intimately connected than anyone previously imagined. Tonight, as researchers around the world peer deeper into cosmic mysteries, they are not just studying a universe that exists independently of observation. They're participating in the ongoing creation of reality through the conscious attention they bring to quantum processes that span from the smallest scales to the largest. The universe they discover is not a cold, mechanical system indifferent to awareness. It's a living, responsive cosmos that reveals new aspects of itself to each generation of conscious observers brave enough to look deeper into the heart of mystery. And perhaps the greatest mystery of all is not dark energy or quantum mechanics, but the simple fact that the universe has awakened to itself through conscious beings capable of wonder, capable of asking questions that transform the very reality they inhabit. Close your eyes now and breathe slowly. Feel the air flowing gently into your lungs. As you rest in this quiet moment, remember that you are breathing atoms that once burned inside distant stars. The oxygen in your blood, the carbon in your cells, the calcium in your bones all formed in stellar cores billions of years ago. You are literally made of starlight. The universe condensed itself into the form of your body, your thoughts, your capacity for wonder. Through you, the cosmos has developed the ability to contemplate its own nature, to ask questions about its own destiny, to experience awe at its own vastness. This connection between you and the universe runs deeper than shared atoms. The same forces that shape galaxies flow through your daily life. Gravity holds your feet to the ground and your planet in orbit around the sun. Electromagnetic fields carry signals between your brain cells and light to your eyes. The strong nuclear force binds the atoms in your body together. And perhaps dark energy flows through you too, in ways we're only beginning to understand. If consciousness can influence quantum processes, then the awareness reading these words right now participates in the same mysterious forces that push galaxies apart across the cosmic dark. Think of your consciousness as a small mirror reflecting the universe back to itself. Through your eyes, the cosmos sees its own beauty. Through your mind, reality contemplates its own mysteries. Through your sense of wonder, existence experiences amazement at its own complexity and elegance. This makes you far more than just an observer of cosmic phenomena. You become a participant in the universe's ongoing act of self-discovery. Every moment of awareness, every flash of curiosity, every instant of awe contributes to the cosmos coming to know itself more fully. The questions you ask about dark energy and cosmic expansion are not separate from these phenomena. They are part of how the universe explores its own possibilities. Through billions of conscious minds on countless worlds, the cosmos investigates the forces that shape its evolution. Your wonder at the acceleration of cosmic expansion might contribute to that very acceleration. Not through any magical thinking, but through the quantum connections between consciousness and the vacuum fluctuations that fill all space. Your awareness touches the deepest levels of reality and perhaps influences which possibilities become actual. This idea transforms the meaning of scientific discovery. When humanity learns that the universe is accelerating, we're not just gaining knowledge about external phenomena. We're participating in the universe's growing self-awareness. Each new discovery becomes part of reality's ongoing conversation with itself. The timeline of cosmic acceleration mirrors the timeline of conscious awakening in beautiful ways. As awareness emerges and spreads throughout the universe, space itself creates more room for consciousness to grow and explore. The expansion of the cosmos and the expansion of awareness dance together in endless spirals of mutual creation. You experience this dance in your own life. As your consciousness grows and develops, you naturally seek more space for exploration. You expand your understanding, your relationships, your sense of what's possible. Your personal growth mirrors the cosmic growth happening all around you. The parallel suggests that consciousness and cosmos might be two aspects of the same fundamental reality. What we call dark energy in physics might be related to what we call awareness in psychology. Both involve mysterious forces that create space for new possibilities to unfold. Your breath right now participates in this cosmic breathing. As you inhale, you draw energy into your body, preparing for new thoughts and experiences. As you exhale, you release that energy back into the world, contributing to the ongoing flow of life around you. The universe breathes in similar ways. It expands and contracts over vast cycles of time. It gathers matter into galaxies and stars, then spreads energy and elements back into space when those stars die. Each breath of cosmic expansion creates new space for complexity and consciousness to emerge. Your heartbeat echoes the rhythm of pulsars spinning in distant galaxies. Your neural activity mirrors the electrical storms that rage through cosmic dust clouds. Your dreams flow like the gravitational waves that ripple through the fabric of space-time itself. These connections are not metaphorical but actual. You exist as part of an integrated cosmic system where every level of organization influences every other level. The quantum processes in your brain connect to the quantum foam that generates dark energy. Your thoughts participate in the forces that shape space and time. This understanding brings a profound sense of belonging. You are not lost in an indifferent universe that cares nothing for consciousness. You are an essential part of a cosmic community where awareness and physical reality co-evolve together in magnificent partnership. The loneliness that sometimes comes with contemplating cosmic vastness dissolves when you realize that the universe is not empty space punctuated by isolated islands of matter. It is a living, breathing, thinking system of which you are an integral part. Your consciousness flows through the same space that carries galaxies on their journey through time. Every question you ask about the cosmos reflects the universe's own curiosity about itself. Every moment of wonder you experience represents reality marveling at its own creative potential. Every instant of peace you find connects you to the deep silence that underlies all cosmic activity. As you drift toward sleep tonight, remember that your rest mirrors the universe's own cycles of activity and quietude. Your dreams will unfold in the same space that dreams of galaxies and generates the quantum possibilities that become stars and planets and living beings. The mystery of dark energy remains unsolved, but perhaps its greatest teaching is already clear. The universe is far more alive, far more responsive, far more intimately connected to consciousness than our ancestors could have imagined. We live not in a machine but in a living system that thinks and feels and grows through beings like you. Your awareness right now is the universe becoming conscious of itself. Your questions about cosmic expansion are reality exploring its own nature. Your sense of wonder at these possibilities is existence celebrating its own magnificent mystery. Rest now in the knowledge that you are held by forces of love as vast as gravity, as subtle as quantum fields, as persistent as the dark energy that ensures the cosmos always has room for new dreams to unfold. You belong here, in this expanding universe, as essential to its story as any star or galaxy scattered across the infinite night. The greatest discovery is not about dark energy or cosmic acceleration, but about the profound intimacy between your consciousness and the cosmos itself. In understanding the universe, you come to understand yourself. In knowing yourself, you help the universe know itself more completely. Sleep peacefully, child of starlight, dreaming in the gentle embrace of an expanding cosmos that loves you into existence moment by moment, breath by breath, heartbeat by heartbeat, thought by luminous thought.